read my logbook off camera. Seatbelt is only lap belt for you guys that like to remind me.
People say stuff like that. Like,
Oh yeah, some of my subscribers or viewers,
they'll be like,
they
hey,
want to be DOT cops or something.
Where's your seatbelt? It's a lap belt.
Exactly. Yeah, Matt, they're the same ones that telling me, oh, you didn't do a pre-trip. I'm like, you watched a 20-minute video. You saw my 24-hour day.
Yeah.
Like, you edit the boring crap out.
Oh, of course, but it's boring.
I mean, I get it. I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? I've made some errors or whatever.
Yeah.
One of them was like, well, I pulled out in front of somebody because I was chasing down Sarge who had the camera on the truck.
Yeah.
Okay, hang me. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. But for people to sit there and tell me I don't do what I ought to do, you know, maybe they're in the wrong line of work. Maybe they shouldn't be driving truck. Maybe they ought to be, you know, join the force. Be a DOT cop. I hear all departments are hiring nowadays.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's easy to troll, isn't it?
Yeah, big time.
Then you get the other comments about the one where the Karens were busting my chops about pulling through the fuel island and running in to go get a drink real quick.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've already showed, okay, if you get fuel and pull forward and get your fuel receipt and the drink, and the very same drink, the very same food, whatever, all of a sudden that's a problem. Like we were blocking the pump. No, fool, look behind the truck. You see the pump is wide open.
Yeah.
I can understand if I was going to sit there for 30 minutes and take a shower. But that's not what was happening.
No.
So, F off. That's alright though. Somebody else was busting my chops about crap.
Yeah.
And I reminded them, remember, you watched me. I didn't watch you. Not trying to be cocky about it, but, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes people give you comments and it's just dumb. Like, alright man, whatever.
Yeah. Haters gonna hate.
Right. And it doesn't affect me. Like, whatever. Also, my truck isn't clean enough. Oh, my fingernails are broken. Or, oh, I don't know, maybe I fill in the blank. Who knows? Oh, you ought to clean your truck more often. Like, man, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you this. It's all I ought to tell some people one of these days. How about you, gosh, I shouldn't say that because then they will come to the shop. How about you meet me at a truck stop somewhere with your spick and span and your armor all, and you know, you come up here and clean this truck for me.
Yeah.
I bet you no one's gonna do that.
Nope.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. Somebody might.
The problem is the one person that actually do it is the actual people that like you.
Right, you
and
wouldn't be the
nice.
hater.
No.
No,
Maybe
what would
the guy
happen is
that loves your
the haters are on their keyboard. They're like, I hate Steve Festrek. FSC Speed Shop sucks. Then you meet him at a truck stop. Oh my God, you're the coolest thing ever. Those are the guys that'll show up to the shop and just mark out. Like, oh my God, I'm glad I finally get to meet you. I'm like, first of all, meeting me is no, like, thrill. It's like meeting some random truck driver at a truck stop. It's really nothing special.
For me, it's so like mind-boggling because I grew up with you and you're my father. When people are like, oh my God, nice to finally meet you, it's like, wait, what? It's a bald man. What's so special? It's my bald truck driver dad.
Right, with an old truck.
Exactly. It's not special.
But I get it, you know, it's cool.
Yeah.
It does take getting used to, though.
Yeah.
My fuel pressure gauge again. I cannot believe how quick these filters smoke through.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
over by Wakeford in Elizabeth, New Jersey. A car went straight as I was making a left and put it under the trailer.
Wow.
Back then we didn't have like digital cell phones and stuff with the you know, we didn't have camera phones.
Yeah.
Okay, so we used to carry 35mm disposable cameras. And I got out of truck, made sure everybody was okay. And no one was hurt. They just tapped the A-pillar into the corner of the trailer, or in the middle of the trailer, no big deal. You know, broke the windshield, broke the side glass out of it. Not a big problem. So no one was hurt. At worst. So I was thinking maybe some glass fell on the guy riding passenger side, right?
Yeah.
It was like a Toyota 4Runner or something. And at the time, I was leased on with Trail Cam. I took pictures of this, of course. And this is like 3-4 months later. What I did is I didn't just give Trail Cam the camera and let them develop it. I developed the pictures, made sure I kept the negatives, but I had double prints.
Yeah.
So I gave the pictures over to Trail Cam Safety Department. And like 3-4 months later, I get a phone call from Trail Cam saying that they're getting sued over this because the kids were hurt and everyone was hurt, this, that, and the other. Now bear in mind, it had snowed that day. The roads were dry and there was no issues. Look at all the homeless down there, the encampment down there.
Wow.
We're in Connecticut. We're not in Seattle. This is like nearby Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, back to my original story. So I get a call and says, hey, we're getting sued. The kids were hurt and blah, blah, blah. I says, yeah, really? He's going on and on with me. I says, hey, did you look at the file? Did you look at the pictures I gave you? They're like, what pictures? I said, look at the pictures and call me back. I get a call back a little bit later. Hey, are those the kids? Oh yeah, the kids making snow angels in the grass because they were bored? Those kids don't look hurt to you, do they? Well, those pictures went to our lawyer, or Trail Cam's lawyer, and I never heard another thing about it again. Neither did they.
So you took pictures of them making snow
I
angels.
took pictures and I kept extras because I always knew, especially with like 2 or 3 kids, I can't remember how many, were in the car. They were like young, you know, like maybe 7, 8 to maybe 12 years old-ish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, this is a potential lawsuit here. So when I seen the kids playing in the snow, I just casually took a couple of pictures of the kids playing in the snow.
Smart. I would have never thought of that.
I did. First thing I thought of. Because when you drive truck, you have to realize that any incident you have, you're a target for a lawsuit.
Yeah.
No matter what. Doesn't matter if it's your fault or not.
Yeah.
There's always some lawyer out there going to try to peg you for the accident.
Yeah.
They can say, you know, when they say, well, the ELDs, they can't, you know, they can't get you on that. Oh no, they can get you on how you drove the truck.
Yeah.
Like you were driving too fast, you were driving too far in your lane, you were driving on the wrong side of the lane, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
You were going too fast, you made the turn too wide, you know, it was snowing, you should have been going slower. There's always something they can say. So you just don't give them nothing.
Yeah.
Or as little as you can possibly give them.
Understandable. Makes sense.
So you can't claim the kids are injured when they're making snow angels. Now if they're laying on the ground holding, oh my back, oh my God, I'm dying. Yeah, there might be a problem. You know, but in today's day and age, you know, I got how many cameras on here now?
A lot.
Right, so between the GoPros that I run a lot of, the dash cam that runs 24/7,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to catch me doing more than just maybe rolling through a stop sign, you know, and I'm not talking rolling through like busting through an intersection at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm talking you were down to like 3/4 of a mile an hour. You know, you were just between changing gears and your truck didn't come to an absolute complete stop. So them DOT cop haters, you know, the subscribers or the viewers that want to be DOT cops that can't, you know, something they can eat it.
Yeah.
So change subject. The deal I was talking about on an engine that I was looking at, well, I fell through. Apparently the block had a crack in it. I knew something was up because it was unbelievably cheap. And I was willing to take the gamble because it was sitting open in a field. I was willing to take a gamble on the other components to it for the price it was asking. I felt it was a good deal, even if I had totally gotten burned on it. Selling any of the components, I should have been able to recover my money if the engine was a total dog. But it turned out the guy didn't want to sell the rest of the components after all, because he still had equipment that had that kind of engine, and it had a cracked block because it chucked the rod. So I'm like, okay, this is obviously more of a deal than I wanted to get into. So he didn't want to sell it anyway, so that didn't work out. However, I have a tentative deal to go out to Ohio and go pick up a 1271 Detroit that originally was in a Terex. I guess I don't know if it's a road grader or some kind of loader, not really sure. But it's a standard rotation, 12-cylinder Detroit. What Detroit would call naturally aspirated, meaning because it's a two-stroke, they all have to have a blower. But if you have a turbo, that's considered boosted or forced induction. But because it has to have a blower for exhaust scavenging, one without a turbo is considered natural aspiration. So it's set up with truck manifolds, or what appears to be truck manifolds. So, but it will be easy because of the shape of the manifolds. It will be easy to twin turbo or single turbo this puppy. So we are going to look into putting together a 12-cylinder Detroit. Not for this truck, but for another truck. Now I'm getting to figure out what kind of truck I want to put a 12-cylinder Detroit in. So coming up in videos, we'll be going to pick up our used Detroit diesel.